I genuinely think this idea that I have is fucking cool. All right, so let's get into this. I got introduced to Gary in 2015, saw that video. Ever since then, just like paid so much attention to him, and like I never really understood. I knew what social media was, but I was always the person who just watched it for like Ball's Life videos and basketball and just like entertainment. Yeah. But I never actually understood like what these things are until Gary starts to talk about them. Because I think a lot of people misunderstand how powerful content is, right? He always would talk about like how people need to get their own D-Rock, and I never had a need for it because I never had a business. I never had a niche of my own. And in college, like I didn't take advantage of creating. I think it would have been a cool time in college to talk about college the way I thought about it in college. Right. That's cool content. I never did that.
There's an audience for that as well, because there's so many college students who are thinking those exact things, like fucking like, should I be here? Like, you know, what am I doing?
And they're like, what am I learning?
Yeah.
I went to Silicon Valley in Cali for a class 2 years ago, and that was the first time I ever like had the confidence. I like recorded wherever we went. We went to Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, startups, and we were there for 10 days. I took it for credit, and I was the only kid on the trip who like was recording, talking about it, and I put it on Instagram. I put it, but like that's it. I didn't do anything with it, and even though I didn't do anything with it aside from put it on Instagram, like people watched. People communicated, they interacted with the content, and that was like the first time I was like, I'm gonna try and do what Gary does, and it was my first stab at it. Right. But I didn't have a D-Rock. I just had myself. Right. So 3 weeks ago, I was in Pennsylvania with my father. We were visiting his mother, who's my grandmother. And like her health is all right, so we were going up there, and we were staying with a family friend. And one night, the family friend had someone over, and someone my dad knows and he knows. Keep in mind, my dad is he's almost 70. So is the friend, and so is the other person. So there's 3 like adults and me. I'm 23. And we're in the backyard, and like my dad's friend and I, we each have, and the fourth person, she's a woman, a friend of theirs. We each have like a hot dog in our hand and a bun, and it was a weird, funny moment. And the woman was like, let me take a picture of you guys. And my dad's friend, it was his house, he said, like, okay, but why? Like, that's weird. Why would we do that? And she takes out her phone, and she's like, Saul, like, you're supposed to document your life. And we took the picture, and I went inside, and I had this super weird, like, I don't want to say it was like an out-of-body experience, but like something triggered in my head where I was like, here's an adult who didn't grow up with the internet or social media or like what Gary does, but like understands the concept of creating documentation around just memories and life. Your life. And that moment, for whatever reason, and it was the moment, like it could have been any other moment, but for that one reason, like kind of hit me as to like, holy shit, like I want to do the same thing but through my life. Like there are stories that I want to tell. So I've always wanted to do what we're doing, and I never actually like did anything about it. But that weird moment a few weeks ago is kind of like what triggered all
awakening moment, kind of.
Gary sometimes talked about how he'll be like, you know, I always go to these keynotes and I always put out this content and people consumes it and they see me and hear me say the same shit. But there might be that one like certain thing that actually like that was it for me.
Like that makes it click,
and I was just like, wow. So like that's how I got here.
Nice.
And that's the first thing that I think like might make sense to do is a video like my name, like who I am.
Yeah,
like who I am, where I'm from, like, and I think about it in the sense of maybe I'm the voiceover. It might be important to have like a preliminary video of just like,
it's definitely nice to have a base where like people can come to, and then okay, what's this channel all about, and then you see it here, and so people can get an idea of what you're about.
Wait. Next episode is crazy. You do not want to miss it. So just be sure to subscribe.